Well, what is going on? What is going on, Bills Mafia? Welcome. Welcome, everybody, into the Overreaction Buffalo Postgame Show, brought to you by the Market Dominator team on the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network, presented by Picasso's Pizza. Treat yourself to the most flavorful pizza on game day. Picasso's. We are Buffalo Pizza, shipping local and nationwide. Order online at picassospizza.net. My name is Joe Miller. I'm the voice of the Overreaction Buffalo Postgame Show. And you can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. You can also find this show on Twitter at Overreaction Buff, Overreaction BUF. And if you follow me over at Overreaction Buff, I will follow you back. Best place to go to get all of the extra content that I have been putting out is to follow that handle. You will know when I've dropped a pod. You know when I've dropped something on Monday, Wednesday, Rapid Fire Friday, all that good stuff. But it's super good to have you. Let me be the first to wish you a happy Victory Monday. This will be the 13th Victory Monday of the season. It doesn't get old. It does definitely not get old, especially after what this last week looked like, which we'll get into here in a second. But please do me a favor, like and subscribe, whatever platform you are consuming this podcast or this video cast on. We are Super Chat Live. And basically what that means is if you're watching me live right now, I'm recording a podcast. So I'm doing the best I can to kind of stick with my notes, not really hanging out in the comment section too much. If you want to get my attention, if you want to ask me a question, or if you have a comment for me just on something that I've said, please do me a favor, jump in, give me a super chat. You don't have to put a ton of money in there. It just makes it glow so I can see it and basically grabs my attention. But with that being said, whether this podcast finds you around a cup of coffee, at the gym with your AirPods in, on the drive to work, or watching me live right now, let me just say one more time, welcome. So good to have you. Wildest Dreams Land are upon us one more time. And before we kick the show off, as we do every single week, let's hear real quick from the Market Dominator and his team. Let's pay the bills.
Hey, it's John Spasjak here with the Market Dominators team. We are wildly grateful to be sponsoring the Overreaction Postgame Show with our good friend Joe Miller so we can connect with all of you, Bills Mafia. Now, I want to reflect a moment and talk about what it was like sitting on the 40-yard line last Monday night in Cincinnati watching these events unfold with Damar Hamlin. We are wildly grateful and stunned at the amount of prayer that went forward and what can happen when a team, a community, an organization can come together, a nation, a world comes together united. I think everyone was impacted by what happened. And we are so grateful that Damar is off his breathing tube. He's up and talking, and we wish him a healthy recovery so that he can get back there on the field. But we are all reminded that nothing is more important than life itself, not even football. So as you begin to transition in your life from one home to another, we do want to remind you that we are the Market Dominators and that we seek to serve in a way that everyone came together to serve Damar. We're here for you. So give us a call directly, 716-570-3298, where we educate, advocate, negotiate, and dominate. And lastly, go Bills.
Go Bills. That is John Spasjak. He was at the game last week in Cincinnati, and I couldn't imagine. I know probably a whole bunch of people that are listening to this were there as well, and I can't even imagine being a part of what unfolded in that football game. And to be honest with you, real quick, I've been absent and quiet over the last week, and a big part of that, and I put a tweet out about it, I just didn't have words. When you see what what unfolded before our eyes on national television. And I'm not going to get largely into that because obviously the good news is that Damar is okay. And I'm believing that he's going to play again. But when you see just the coverage and you see what unfolded around Damar Hamlin and the Buffalo Bills and the wall-to-wall coverage that from every broadcast outlet, sports media. I mean, Good Morning Football was 3 hours solid Tuesday morning. And then again, Wednesday morning, ESPN's coverage. And I don't even like ESPN, but ESPN's coverage was phenomenal. I just felt like I had nothing to add that wouldn't be anything but noise. And at the end of the day, I'm not a professional. This isn't what I do for a living. And there are people who are gifted professionals and know how to bring news and know how to bring news coverage. And there's a moment when people like me need to step aside. And for me, this past week was that moment for me to step aside, just to get out of the way and not add to the noise. But it's been tremendous to kind of see everything that has gone on. It's been tremendous to see the hearts. It's been tremendous to see the unity. It's been tremendous to see a nation rallied around a human being, one person in prayer. And it's been amazing to see what those prayers can do. And I just want to give you a real quick, just some of the words from Coach Sean McDermott before we get the show officially started from the postgame presser, just talking about Damar Hamlin sent the team a text 2 nights ago, I believe on Friday night, in the middle of the night, Saturday morning, early 2:31, I think Tre'Davious White said, and he just basically was apologizing to the team, apologizing for this happening to him, apologizing for probably being a distraction to them and weighing so heavily on their hearts. And Coach Sean McDermott, it was brought to his attention that happened because he didn't know. He sent it to the DB room, I believe. And Coach responded to that. And I just want to share with you incredibly powerful words from Coach before we officially kick the show off. So just bear with me just for a second.
The other comment or question about Damar, like Damar should in no way, shape, or form feel bad or apologize for him putting his teammates through this. I think we would all agree that God's hand is in this and has been in it from the first moment. And I think, and I should say this, when you watch how at times divided we can be as a country and a world, I think the thing we all recognized this week was when people can put love first and people first and come together, how powerful this country and this world can be for the good, and the amount of love that people can have for one another. And maybe it took a sporting event for that to happen, but I think that's a great example to all of us, and we should continue with that moving forward.
So I'm going to do my best to not continue on that note, just out of just enough people have been emotional. Yeah. So let those words sink in. More unity, less division, more love, less hate, more prayer, less doubt, more hope, right, is what this country needs. What we as a people need, what we as communities need. And to be honest with you, with everything that's gone on in Buffalo over the last 365 days, less than that, not calendar year, but the last less than 365 days, to include, which has not been wildly reported, John Murphy also suffering a stroke last week, I think on Friday night or Saturday before the game on Monday. You know, enough is enough. I'm kind of tapped out on it, to be honest with you, and just really excited to see the positive turn and see the positive spin and to see all of us come together and rally around a cause. So I'm going to leave that there, and just kind of wanted to let everybody know why I have been silent. The show didn't happen. There was no Fina show. There was no Hump Day Hotline. It just, yeah. So with that, we will move on. But I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you tuning in. I appreciate those of you that are here with me live right now, and there's a bunch of you. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you so much for kind of just giving me the first couple minutes of the show to kind of get that stuff out there. So appreciate you more than all of you will ever know. The Buffalo Bills, awesome. Victory Monday, wildest dreams land. The Buffalo Bills have defeated the New England Patriots, sweeping them once again with a final score of 35-23, finishing the season with 7 straight wins. I know a little bit on a technicality because there's a no contest in there, but the reality is they won 7 straight to finish the season. They got 4 left. They got 4 to go, fam. They have 4 more victories to go. And to be honest with you, as you've probably already gleaned, I'm exhausted. And I know that you're exhausted. I know the team is exhausted. You know, everyone needed this game. We needed it so that we could move on. Even with Damar doing okay and being better and talking and up and around and neurologically fine and the breathing tube out and all that good stuff, you know, it felt like there was still a cloud. There was still a weight, right? So with everything that happened, there was a weight that was lifted. There was a cloud that was lifted, but we needed to see football. We needed to see the Bills play. We needed to erase the last memory that we all had of our favorite football team being on a football field. And to be honest with you, I believe that Cincinnati Bengals fans probably felt the same way. But we needed to see the Bills players make tackles and then get up. We needed to see what we saw in this football game. And what's amazing about not only this game, but the entire week itself is just the amount of times that the number 3 showed up. And I've got just a couple of them for you. For those of you that are aware of these things, you can fist bump with me. For those of you that aren't aware, then you can be amazed. You can go wide-eyed. But it started earlier this week, I think on Tuesday. Tage Thompson scored his 3rd hat trick of the season. For those of you that are not aware, a hat trick is 3 goals. So Tage Thompson scored 3 goals in the game, in the Sabres game, and it was the 3rd time he'd done that in the season. There were other things leading up to this game, but I don't want to kind of hit all of it. But, I'm sure that you have heard, and if you have not, the opening kickoff return that Nyheim Hines had was the first kickoff return for a touchdown, I should say, for the Bills in 3 years and 3 months. Josh Allen, when he was asked in a post-game presser what that felt like or what his emotion was or what it meant, he said, to be honest with you, it was a spiritual moment. It was just the whole entire moment. It was beyond emotion. It was beyond feelings. It was beyond glee and happiness. It was a spiritual moment. He said it was like God was talking to us in that moment. The offense, Josh Allen threw 3 touchdowns. The defense had 3 interceptions. And this is probably my favorite part. Damar Hamlin had the opportunity pregame to break the huddle down for the Bills. And when they FaceTimed him in. So the team, as you know, pregame is like before they come off the field for the introductions and stuff, they all get in the middle and then they break the team down. As a full team, not as units, but as a full team. And they had Damar on FaceTime. And he basically said, "Bills on me." I'm going to get emotional. 1, 2, 3 Bills, which to me, I mean, Bills on me. Right. So, I'm going to do the best I can to stay in character. Might be a little tough. Let's get back to the football game. This football game, it was 32 degrees in Buffalo today, a little gray day as it is typically this time of year in Buffalo. It angers me because in Pittsburgh, which is 2.5 hours from here, it was sunny and cold, but we get gray, cloudy days. But the good news is there was no wind for this football game. Sold out, packed, Highmark Stadium, where the energy was palpable. Even before the national anthem was sung, everybody was in their seats, anxious, waiting, ready to get this game going. The Buffalo Bills, as you know already, needed this game to get the number 2 seed and guarantee themselves home field advantage for round 1 and round 2 of the playoffs, and guarantee that they don't have to go to Kansas City during the playoffs. So because of the no contest, and I have my own feelings about the decision and the rule change, not the rule change, whatever the condition change that the NFL made, the competition committee made for the Bills because of the no contest, actually for the Bills and the Bengals. I don't really like it. I almost in some regards wish they would have just given them an L. And it is what it is, because to be honest with you, even with the L and the Bengals having won that game, they're still going to the playoffs, right? They're still, the games are going to be played, and I trust this football team. But if you aren't aware of what's going to happen or how this whole thing shook out because of the no contest between the Bills and the Bengals, and the Chiefs going on to win the 1 seed with an extra game, a better winning percentage, they were given the option, the Chiefs were, to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs, or they were given the option to take a first round bye. They chose wisely the first round bye. Well, why would they choose the bye? Well, the bye means that they got 1 less game to play. They get a week off, but more importantly, they get an automatic advance to round 2 of the playoffs. The Bills then get the home field advantage as the number 2 seed. Now, what's going to happen is the Bills are going to play the first game at home. If they win that, they're going to play the second game at home. And provided the Chiefs win their first playoff game, right, because they got the first round bye, then that AFC Championship game between the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be played in a neutral stadium on a neutral field someplace. I'm not exactly sure. I know they've asked, I think Indianapolis, and Indianapolis they had to decline. They've got something else going. I think Vegas was asked too, and they may have declined. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. Now, here's what's interesting. If the Chiefs lose in their first round playoff game or their second round playoff game, their first game, then the Bills get home field advantage through the playoffs. Is effectively how that's going to work. So the AFC Championship game will be played in Buffalo if the Chiefs were to lose. So now that we kind of got that all wrapped up, the Bills needed this game to get that number 2 seed, like I said, and guarantee home field advantage for round 1 and round 2 of the playoffs. The Bills are playing, if you have not heard yet, they're playing the Miami Dolphins. Now, the question is going to be, is Tua Tagovailoa going to play in that football game, which we have not heard? He remains in concussion protocol at this point, and Mike McDaniel was unwilling to discuss it in his post-game presser today as to whether or not he would be available, how he's progressing, any of that type of stuff. And that's probably wise for Mike McDaniel just to kind of keep that under his hat. The Patriots needed this win to be in. They didn't. They lost for the second year in a row. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills end the Patriots season. Wildest Dreamsland. You might get a bunch of Wildest Dreamsland from me during this show, but that to me will never get old. So, and it's going to be, if the Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins come to Buffalo next week and the Bills can put down the Dolphins, then you're talking about the Bills ending the Dolphin season, which, they've done that a couple times in the last couple years. So that will be Wildest Dreamsland. That's the stuff that Wildest Dreams are made of. And I will live in Wildest Dreamsland forever. But, it's surprising to me that the Patriots were kind of this close, that they needed to win and be in, because I expected, if you've been paying attention to any of the shows that I'm on, I expected the Patriots to be the worst team in football, or I should say the worst team in the AFC East, which they weren't. The Jets ended up with a bunch of quarterback issues that they weren't really expecting. Not that the Patriots don't have quarterback issues either. Outside of this football game, Mac Jones has been kind of horrific. He's been bad this season. If you remember, they talked about going to Bailey. They talked about going to his backup, and it's just been a tough sled offensively between him, Matt Patricia being the offensive coordinator, I should say co-offensive coordinator, play caller. The Patriots just haven't been a good football game or a football team. So knowing that they were this close to being in the playoffs, and I think they would have had to have come back and played the Bills next week. It's a little bit, in my opinion, surprising. Good on them, I guess. But have a nice flight home. See you next season sometime. Probably with a different offensive coordinator, possibly with a different quarterback. Bailey Zappi, right? That was his name. So anytime we can put that team down, it's a good day. It's a real good day. But you couldn't have, getting into this football game, you couldn't have scripted the opening of this game any better. Nyheim Hines receives the kick at the 4-yard line of the Buffalo Bills and takes that opening kickoff 96 yards for a touchdown. It's funny. I didn't watch it live. I watched the game live, but I didn't watch the opening kickoff live. So this is what happened to me. So with John Murphy being not well, he had a stroke, as I said at the top of the show a week and a half ago, Chris Brownie has been calling the games for the Buffalo Bills, and I wanted to kind of hear what his play-by-play was like. So I was out in the truck. I was coming home from church and sat in my driveway for about 10 minutes, just kind of waiting for the game to start. And I was like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm recording it. I just want to hear like the kickoff, and I want to hear the first play, right? And then I'll go in the house and I'll put the game on and I'll watch it that way. And I'm sitting there in my truck in utter disbelief as I'm listening to Brownie call Nyheim Hines at the 40, at the 50, at the 40, the 35, the 30, the 20, the 10. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I don't know. There's a good chance that going forward, because I'm not superstitious, I'm, as Josh Allen and they say in the office, I'm a little stitious. I may have to listen to the first kickoff of every game in my truck going forward, because and I've never listened. I don't listen to it on the radio. So if I'm driving home late from church, I'll literally turn the radio off because I know I'm recording it. I'll turn my phone off so nobody can text me, and then I'll drive home and I'll put it on and then I'll catch up. But this was a unique and very odd moment for me. And for all intents and purposes, if we're talking about it, I might have to sit in my truck and listen to the opening kickoff of every game going forward, just because because that's how we are, right? Just one of those things. But you could not have scripted the moment any better. Just the 3 years and 3 months thing. Josh Allen, the view coming back from commercial last week on Monday night with Josh Allen, hands on his face, right? That's when you knew something was really wrong. And then the next live football game view we have of Josh Allen is him once again with his hands on his head, only this time in disbelief for positive reasons. McDermott, I swear, when they cut to him, was glossy-eyed, meaning he was welling up with emotion once he kind of realized what had happened. And it's funny because McDermott had spoken in his press game conference after this game just about having a vision that this is how this game would start, that they'd get the opening kickoff and they would take it down for a touchdown. And more interestingly than that, he also talked about the fact that, when it did happen, that he then had to start thinking about how the team was going to react as far as like to that whole situation, because the emotion of this game, and we heard it, if you watched the broadcast on television, we heard them talk about the emotional drain, just going through this week and how are the players going to fare being that drained all week long emotionally? Would they have, because when you're that emotional, it takes adrenaline from your body. It removes all the hormones and stuff, the serotonin and all that kind of stuff, the stuff that keeps your body going, so that when you get into these high pressure situations, your body is a little bit tapped. It's a little bit zapped. So McDermott was worried a little bit about just kind of how they were going to, respond to that moment. And I'd say personally, they had some challenges responding to that moment, and rightly so, if you think about it. Nyheim Hines said that the whole team has been chanting for weeks, #FreeHines. And Damar Hamlin has been one of the ones that's kind of been chirping that as well. In fact, Damar Hamlin actually tweeted "Free Hines" before the game even started. And then he tweeted about it afterwards once it happened as well. But there was an emphasis, Nyheim Hines said in his post-game presser, about getting that first touchdown return, kickoff return for a touchdown in this game. He felt that they had been close, that they had done their job. The blocking scheme, he said that there had been challenges this year kind of coming into Buffalo and getting kind of in sync. And I'm paraphrasing, getting in sync with the team. He said, but those guys have always had his back. And there's been a couple of times when he felt like it was there, but he slipped down and kind of let his teammates down. So the fact that that's how this game started, and I don't know where you were and what your experience was and how much you were screaming at the television, or if you were at the game and losing your mind, but what an incredibly amazing moment that was. And then for him to do it again. Like, I'm sitting on the couch when the second one comes, and my wife is sitting next to me, and like when he first broke free, I was like, he's going to do it again. And sure enough, he did it again. Just absolutely positively unbelievable, absolutely incredible. But like I said, coming out of that moment, the Buffalo Bills struggled a bit, and you really can't blame them. Like I said, I was completely exhausted, after that football game. John Fina texted me and was like, I need a nap. I need to take a nap. He was exhausted after the football game. I just can't imagine what these players felt. I can't imagine the emotion even post game. I can't imagine what they're feeling right now. There's going to be a quiet time moment for these players where they're going to get by themselves, and they're going to begin to reflect and recall the doubt, the fear, the concern, the insecurities, followed by the hope and the optimism, followed by the ups and the downs of this game. And it's going to bring players to emotional moments, whether they're with somebody or not. It's going to affect them. Tre'Davious White said in his post-game presser that he's not, even after he heard about Damar being okay, that Saturday during the football games, that the TV would cut to commercial breaks, and it's all that he could think about is just the visions from Monday, and then it's still hanging with him and he can't shake it. So, there was a release that happened when that kickoff return for a touchdown, when that moment happened, right? And there's going to be continued releases. And it's going to be interesting to see how this team continues to respond to yet another tragedy, situation, bump in the road, distraction, whatever you want to call it. I'm excited to see how they respond. But regardless of what happens with the rest of this season, for me, and you might feel different, for me, this season has been a win. The season has been a victory. 13-3 with everything that they've gone through, all of the injuries, Kim Pagula, the mass shooting in Buffalo, the winter storms, all the hurdles they've had to jump, Damar Hamlin, John Murphy. There's just a point where the fact that we're seeing good football from this football team and they have not completely unraveled and the wheels have not completely come off. People are now, there's been a lot of championing for Sean McDermott this week on Twitter that he should be the coach of the year. And that's 100% absolutely correct. Nobody has led their team through anything like what Sean McDermott has led his team through this year. It's been incredible. And the weight of this football game honestly made it very challenging for me with my notes. Because this game, you talk about all of the stuff, right? And all the things that they've gone through, and what was going on in this game, and the measure of fear that these players felt about losing this game was probably almost as heavy as some of the other stuff that they went through, because they knew the world was going to be watching. The world is every single coach, every player came out pregame from every game this weekend wearing Love for Damar. All of the coaches were wearing Love for Damar shirts. NFL people were wearing Bills clothes and all the stuff this week, pregame stuff like fantasy football shows and just highlight shows and NFL Access and all that kind of crap. Like, the eyes of the world were on this football game. The level of expectation for what was going to happen in this game it had to be overwhelming. So to see the way that it began, to see what came into it, to see the way that it began with the kickoff return, there's a point where you have to provide grace. You have to provide room that this team, as we learned last Monday, they're humans, right? They're not immune to emotion. They're not immune to distraction. They're not immune to adverse things that come up and keep them from being in their normal rhythm and routine based on the weight of the stuff that happened to them this week. And there was a lot of weight. So I had a hard time with my notes. And I know this isn't a typical post-game show, so if you're not enjoying this, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be real with you. Trying to take you through, as I always do, my emotions. The show's called the Overreaction Postgame Show for a reason, because I bring you through the game, at least I try to, and how I feel, whether I'm right or wrong about what happened, how I felt. And I hope to resonate with you on how you felt in some fashion. And I know that I don't resonate with everybody, but a lot of times, more often than not, I kind of bring it right to the forefront as far as what we went through together. But this game at points had me stuck between Victory Monday, right? And once again, what the heck is going on? And I very easily could have built my notes more fashion towards the side of what the heck is going on. But I'm not going to go in that direction. I'm going to choose to be positive, and I'm going to choose to provide positivity and more of an uplifting concept to what happened in this football game, because at the end of the day, Josh Allen said it right. Josh Allen said in his post-game press conference today that from here on out, it doesn't matter how we play. All that matters is that we win. From here on out, it doesn't matter how we win. It just matters that we score more points than the other team. And the reality is he's 100% correct. Taron Johnson said he echoed the comments of Sean McDermott this week in his post-game press conference that they are overwhelmingly resilient. And I don't think anybody that's listening to my voice right now can deny the fact that this team is ridiculously resilient. You don't overcome the stuff that they've overcome. You don't play 3 road games in 11 days. You don't get displaced from your family and have games moved and be stuck away from your family. You don't go through the loss of the president, one of the presidents of your franchise, to a health issue. You don't go through the stuff that this team has gone through and what they watched on Monday without being resilient. And at the end of the day, that's what they need to be remembered for. And that's why I said, no matter what happens from here on out, single elimination tournament that is the NFL playoffs, this season has been a win for me. And you can take it if the Bills drop a game before the Super Bowl, don't make it to the Super Bowl, don't win the Super Bowl. You can take that however you want. You can be angry, you can be mad. I'm not going to fault you for that because there was expectations coming into this season. But for me, and I know there's no such thing as a moral victory, for me, I'm never going to forget what this team has gone through in the 2022 season. And I think that's the easiest way to say it. But let's talk about, or I should say, let's continue talking about this football game. You know, the offensive scoring opened up. Josh Allen, threw a dart, if you will, vintage Josh Allen moment to Dawson Knox into the end zone. How long was that pass? I've got it here. Hang on a second. I can tell you exactly how long it was. As I'm going through the play-by-play stuff, Dawson Knox pass from Josh Allen for 4 yards. It was a 4-yard pass, but it seemed like it was 20. Josh Allen had dropped back 10 yards from the 4-yard line, and Dawson was like 8 yards deep in the end zone. But it was incredible just to see that moment happen. Josh Allen back there. I think the time was like 5.6 seconds in the pocket. There was a moment where he was going to check it down. You saw him kind of turn to the camera, and he was like, I'm not going to do it. I've got time. And he looked back, and Dawson had broken free over the middle. Just all the time in the world. And like I said, vintage Josh Allen, just kind of moment where he is extending the play, even inside the pocket, where other quarterbacks would have bailed in that moment, thrown the ball away, checked it down, done something different. It's funny because there's times when we criticize Josh Allen for doing stuff like that. And then there's other times, more often than not, where he's just brilliant. And you're like, yep, that's why we love him. That's why we love the quarterback that he is for our football team. But, the Patriots defensively, they were playing good in this football game, keeping Josh Allen off balance and keeping this offense off balance, whether it was self-inflicted or not. I don't know, but they had a very good mix of blitzes. They had a very good mix of, kind of just rushing with 3, rushing with 4, bringing odd guys, bringing people at different times. And I don't want to say that there was confusion for Josh Allen, but there was a little bit of off balance and kind of unsettledness through this game. And again, that could be from just what they've gone through this week. I would expect to see a far more settled football team next week, first week of the playoffs, than we saw in this game. The good news is the run game. I was texting Jerry Ostrowski after the game, and the good news is the run game is working. I think I was talking with Fina about it too. Just the fact that, of all the things that you can talk about positive, right, from this football game, the fact that the Bills are now running successfully in run situations where they have failed in the last 3 years is pretty incredible. And you couple that with Josh Allen starting to throw darts down the field, and he said in his postgame presser, I've probably been checking it down too much. Kind of brings you back to like, if we can get the old Josh Allen where he's taking those risks and those chances and he's throwing darts down the field and they're being successful, and we can run the football, wildest dreams land, baby. Wildest dreams land. I got a super chat from Carl Tommen. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Thank you for being a part of the show. This team, they're winners just for making it this far, but they're not done. And we will win it all this year. They will win it for everyone. Woot, woot. Carl, I love that sentiment. And I don't know that anything else needs to be said, because I believe they have the ability to do it. We're going to talk about a little bit of that in the story of this game here in a couple of minutes. So just hang with me just a second, if you will. But as I was saying, the Patriots defense, they're playing well. The run game is working, and when you look at the defensive game plan, and again, this is that moment where I'm willing to give them grace, because they made Mac Jones look like an all-world quarterback through a lot of moments. Mac Jones in his 3 touchdown drives, if you did not see this, hear this, or if you were at the game, was 17 of 17. Mac Jones, who has been a problem for the Patriots this year. Matt Patricia, who has been a problem for the Patriots this year. Mac Jones was finding wide open receivers all over the football field. He was making the right reads. He was making the right throws. His wide receivers were catching the football. There was a lot to be desired as far as game plan wise, what it looked like kind of was going on. Again, we don't know. We're not in that locker room. We're not in those meetings, but at the end of the day, they bowed up and did what they needed to do and came away with 3 key interceptions, 2 of them either in the end zone or damn near close to the end zone, to basically keep the Patriots from getting to the point where they could take this game over. The Bills did a very good job of overcoming, I think is the word that I want to use. This is the first game that the Buffalo Bills have not scored at the end of a half, and I don't even know how long. The pass that Allen threw, I'm a Josh Allen apologist. So I'm not afraid to admit it, as much as I've never said it. I'm a Josh Allen apologist. I literally will get on this show and I'll tell you at times when I feel like it was his fault or not, and I'll try to do the best I can to find what Josh was seeing, what he was doing, what he was thinking, and why he made the throw that he made. That was a bad decision. The Romo or Nance said that he got hit, like his arm got hit. It didn't. He basically ducked the ball. It wasn't a good throw. The defender went at his legs low. Matthew Judon, I think, is who it was. It probably could have been a penalty. There was a lot of bad calls and kind of some bad non-calls in this game. But even if he had gotten zip on that football, there was nobody there that was open that he was throwing the football to. Like, it was strange that moment. I don't know what he was seeing. Unless he thought he was going to throw it out the back of the end zone. Maybe that's what the plan was, and it came out of his hand funny. But it looked like a bad decision. He didn't really address it in the post-game presser. Just said he had a couple throws he'd like to get back, which he says pretty much every single game. But it made it 14-14 at the half. Now, the halftime stats were interesting in this football game to me, because it was close. Really, really close. The total yards, the Patriots were 140 total yards. The Bills were 145. Passing yards, 110 for Mac Jones, 78 for Josh. Rushing yards, 30, 67 for the Bills. Yards per play, 5.4 for the Patriots and 4.1 for the Bills. Mac Jones, and I didn't write it down, or I didn't capture it. I don't know what his numbers were at the halftime, but I think he was like 10 of 12 or 12 of 14. He had like 2 incomplete passes. It was crazy. He was playing lights out. But again, it's easy to play lights out when your guys are wide open, right? It's not hard to make the right decision when your dude is running down the field by himself. In this football game. First downs, first half, 9 for the Patriots, 11 for the Bills. Third down efficiency, 2 of 4 for the Patriots, 5 of 8 for the Bills. And then total plays, 26-35 in favor of the Bills. Sacks, Josh got sacked twice, Mac Jones once, punts, 2 and 2, yada, yada, yada. Time of possession was somewhat evenly split, 13 minutes to 16 minutes as far as the half goes. And then they came out in the second half, the Patriots did, and they were straight marching down the football field. Literally just pretty much doing whatever they wanted to do. Mac Jones literally looked in this game early like a top 3, top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He was not, if you had been told, if you watched this game and had never heard of Mac Jones before, and then you were told that Mac Jones has been a problem all season and the Bills are one of the best defenses in the league, you'd be like, that guy is good. Is basically where you'd have probably argued the opposite in that moment. Mac Jones gone long stretches, not looking good as a quarterback at all in the NFL this past season. 2022 was sharp in this football game. And I'm going to say it again. I've said it a lot. Again, grace. There's a lot of grace that goes to this Bills defense. To me, it wasn't that Mac Jones was good as much as I feel like there was some stuff going on the Bills side of the football. Does that make sense? Do you follow that? Do you agree with that? I guess is where I'm at. If you think about it, it wasn't necessarily that Mac Jones came out and was like destroying the Bills. It was just the Bills doing it for one reason or seven others, kind of doing it to themselves. But Trey White, as they were coming down, man, what a series that opening drive for the Patriots was. They're going down the field. They're going down the field. They're going down the field. Mac Jones, again, hitting all of his receivers. First down. And then Trey White makes that huge interception. Taking it away from, I think it was Devontae Adams, pretty much right on the 1 yard line, the 2 yard line. That was probably, I want to say, I would go as far as to say that was the play of the game, except for the fact of what happened immediately after, which is that Devin Singletary gets the ball punched out. He fumbled, but it wasn't anything that was necessarily, I'm going to say, his fault. It's not like he was mishandling the ball or he was being careless. I mean, it was punched out perfectly. So he fumbles at the Bills' 11 yard line, and then the Bills hold up and they only give up a field goal, which was huge because the opportunity for the momentum swing for the Bills and then the opportunity for the momentum swing to go back, right, to New England was enormous in that moment. The next scoring play, as far as from Josh Allen goes, was the John Brown touchdown. I mean, that whole moment, Josh is rolling to his right. He starts pointing, right? So he's telling somebody that he sees open field behind him. And it's always interesting to me when we see stuff like that from Josh Allen, because you wonder what he sees, because all we have is just the snippet of the television that we can see. We don't see the receivers in the routes, right? And then he launches the football, and I thought for sure that he outthrew John Brown. And then John Brown catches the football, and he's wearing number 16. And I'm like, and you all know that I'm a big Isaiah Hodgins fan. I'm a big Isaiah Hodgins stan. So I'm literally like, who in the hell is number 16? And McKenna is like, John Brown. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then like it comes up on the screen, and I tweeted about this, and it says John Brown touchdown. And it's got a picture of Isaiah Hodgins, which is hysterical. And I took a picture of the television, and I texted it to Isaiah, and Isaiah responded immediately. He goes, I'm scoring touchdowns everywhere, which was just a fun moment. But what a throw. He throws the ball 50 yards in the air, just kind of flicks it on the run, kind of off scripting the play, which we know the Josh Allen off script, out of structure, outside of structure, that's when he's at his best. But he's equally dangerous inside of structure, which is probably something that we haven't seen enough of in the last couple weeks with this offense. There's Jerry Ostrowski feels like this Bills offense is lacking a little bit of an identity as they're kind of discovering who they are on the ground finally, but they're kind of losing a little bit of who they are through the air. And I don't know that he's necessarily wrong. And the hope is that like they begin to put it all together over the next 4 games. That would be ideal. Probably if this game wasn't emotional enough, if it wasn't heavy enough, if it wasn't ridiculously like crazy enough, John Brown comes off the field after scoring that touchdown, and he runs over to Danny Kellington, and he gives him the football. John Brown, who's been inactive for the last couple of weeks, that's the first, I believe I saw a stat that was the first pass he's caught in like 2 years. I think is the stat I saw. He hasn't caught a pass in 2. That can't be true. He had to have caught a ball with the Raiders last year. He hasn't caught a pass as a Buffalo Bill in 2 years. But the first pass that he's caught as a Buffalo Bill this year, and he takes the football and he runs over to Danny Kellington. And if you don't know who Danny Kellington is the guy that was performing CPR on Damar Hamlin last Monday night, and he gives him the game ball. He gives him that football. What a moment. What an absolutely freaking incredible moment. And then, the Stefon Diggs play after that, I don't even know where to begin. It's funny because I've got a negative comment, and I wrote this note in my notes. I've got a negative comment, and then Josh Allen drops back and he makes that throw. It's 3rd and 7, right? It's a critical moment in the football game. The Bills need a score there. They need to keep that drive alive. They need to keep the clock moving. They need to keep pressing the Patriots. The Patriots are not out of it. They're still fighting. They're trying to get to the playoffs. The negative note that I wrote right before that play happened was there's a problem with this offense over the last 5 weeks, 4, 5, 6 weeks, with Stefon Diggs vanishing for long stretches of games. And I know, and Josh Allen was asked about it in his postgame presser. I know that they're double covering him. I know that they're bracketing him. I know that defenses are doing what they can to either take him away or disguise to look like they're taking him away. But there's a feeling that Josh needs to force the ball to him a little bit to kind of keep that threat alive and kind of keep that moment there. And I know that sounds weird. Well, Joe, are you saying that he should throw incompletions to Stefon? I'd rather he throws an incompletion to Stefon than have him throw the ball to Gabe Davis and have him Gabe drop a football, or throw it to somebody else and have them not be where they're supposed to be, or whatever. So the negative note that I wrote was there was a problem with Stefon Diggs vanishing for long stretches of time in this offense. And then this moment happened. And when Josh Allen, I think what gets lost on us sometimes is we hear these broadcasters, right? And I know a lot of you out there don't like Tony Romo at all. I like Tony Romo because Tony Romo knows what the hell he's talking about. And not only does he know what he's talking about, he knows what's coming. The reason Tony was an undrafted quarterback that started for the Dallas Cowboys is because his football IQ is through the roof. There's guys that can play football that are crazy talented, and then there's guys that are crazy smart that allow their brains to make up for the talent that they're lacking. Tony is incredibly intelligent. So when Tony was raving and losing his mind about the fact that Josh was on the opposite hash and dropping that football in a bucket 59 yards downfield. It was a 49-yard touchdown, but Josh had dropped 10 yards. Those are the moments, right? That to me, that I don't know that we properly appreciate as Bills fans. So we hear all of this noise about Patrick Mahomes, and we hear all this crap about other quarterbacks in the league. And you've got Josh Allen making throws like that one, which are throws that other quarterbacks don't make. They don't even throw that football, and he drops it in the bucket. And he did it again with Gabe Davis, and Gabe Davis dropped it. That moment was just incredible. It's 3rd and 7. The Bills need to do something. They need to keep the drive alive. I think they got to, what was it, 2nd and 20 or 2nd and 25 or something like that from that was the ridiculous chop block play, right? Where they called Dawkins and Cook on a chop block. Cook was engaged, and then Dion barely touched the guy. Oh, chop block. It was a ridiculous call. The Bills get like 12 back or 13 back on the first play on 2nd down. And all they need to do is they need to keep it going. And Josh drops back, and he just does what Josh does. And you know when it's coming because he drops back, and it's like, this dude is about to take a whole shot. He's about to throw the ball 50 yards on the field. And I'm yelling. He's dropping back, and I can see where he's looking, and I can see like the tilt of his head. And I begin to yell at the television, no. And then he throws the football, and I go, why? Like, why are you doing this now? Like, of all the moments, this is not, if it's 2nd and 1 and we're up by 2 possessions, throw a deep shot. But at 3rd and 7, when we need it, blah, blah, blah. So, like, I'm in my own head at this moment. I'm in my feelings, right? And then that ball comes down, and it just lands perfectly in Stefon Diggs' lap. And Stefon Diggs is just otherworld. It's just, wildest dreams land. To see these two guys on this football team, and to hear Jamie Erdahl from Good Morning Football talk about just moments, I think it was from Thanksgiving, when she was just reflecting on and remembering Stefon Diggs looking at Josh when they were eating the turkey legs, and Stefon saying, they were asking what they're thankful for, and Stefon looked at Josh and was like, I'm thankful for you. Like, you'll never know how thankful I am for you. It was just, I hope that you are taking in every moment of what we get to live through. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that you are. I've told you guys for a long time, every great play, every good play, every bad play, every horrible play, enjoy every moment of what you're getting to watch. 17 years of crap football, bad teams, bad quarterbacks, bad wide receivers. Not all of them are bad. Obviously, we had Stevie and some others, Eric Moulds in that time. Bad coaching staffs. They were all bad. Bad front offices. They were all bad. Even when they're not playing well, appreciate what we get to watch as Bills fans. Take it in. Go to bed at night with a smile on your face. Even if they lose, go to bed with a smile on your face because we get to watch 10 more years of Josh Allen and Sean McDermott, whoever else they surround this kid with. Just live in it. Live in the moments. Live in the moments. And then to finish the game up for me, Milano had that interception, which how that dude got snubbed for the Pro Bowl, I'll never know. The funny part about that pass that he intercepted is had the throw been better, as much as Romo was dogging kind of Mac Jones for making that throw. If the throw would have been better, it's a touchdown. And then Tremaine gets the game-sealing pick, which was great. The game stats for this game real quick. And I'm really long in the tooth. Like, I'm really going long. I apologize. I'm going to give you the Bills stats. Josh Allen was 19-31. Not a great day, but at the end of the day, I don't care about the MVP anymore. I care about the next 4 games. Give me 4 W's, and I don't give a crap about any MVPs. 19-31, 254, 3 touchdowns and an interception. James Cook, 9-45. Was Devin Singletary 7-29 and Josh Allen 9-16. So I think this is the first game this season that the Bills did not rush for 100 yards. How about that one? Stefon Diggs 7 for 104 and a touchdown. John Brown 1 for 42 and a touchdown. Gabe Davis 3 for 39. Khalil Shakir had a great route, a great catch, and a great run after catch. That was probably the best catch and run he has had. Route, catch, and run Khalil has had all season. Isaiah had a clutch catch as well, 2 for 19. Dawson Knox 2 for 13 with a touchdown. James Cook 2 for 6. Devin Singletary 1 for 3. Real quick, let's talk about, if you will permit me just for a moment, the Western New York Beer Trail, the brand new 2023 Trail Pass, which is this bad boy right here, which is, I believe, just over $30. From Western New York Beer Trail is now available. The 2023 pass is bigger and better than ever, and there's no better time to get ready for your year than right here, right now. The new pass features 53 area breweries, cideries, meaderies, and beer bars all over Western New York. There's actually a map of all the places you can go, so you don't even have to buy this thing and then go someplace and ask them if they accept it. You can just buy it and be like, oh, we're going here tonight, honey. We're going here tonight, guys, if you're going out with the guys. While almost every stop still offers the 2 half-price beers with your pass, there are several other offers available from select locations, such as discounts on flights, food, and merchandise. You can save over $400. So you spend 30-something bucks, and you can save $400 with all the offers in the book. Like a T-Bass field goal, which we didn't get today. You just can't miss. The 2023 Trail Pass and other Beer Trail items are available at our website, www.wnybeertrail.com. Just click the shop tab, and now through November 15th, use the code TheVoice15 to save 15% on your entire order. This is the perfect way to start your holiday shop. Oh, holidays are over. This is the perfect way to start your New Year shopping and get yourself something as well. We at Western New York Beer Trail are proud to support everything local, craft beer, small business, local charities. Watch for our meetups and fundraising events along the way. Western New York Beer Trail, drink local, shop local. We will see you on the trail. So that is the Western New York Beer Trail. Do me a favor, support it, because if you love this show and you want the show to continue, support the sponsors that I have. So jump over to the westernNewYorkBeerTrail.com and pick yourself up the beer trail as soon as you possibly humanly can. So the Buffalo Bills hold up and they win this football game. All 3 phases showed up. Huge help from special teams with the 2 touchdowns. Big deal. So I'm going to give you my story of this football game. Then I'm going to read your tweets, and then I'm going to let you guys go. So the story of this game for me. Clearly, the story of this football game is Damar Hamlin, right? And all of the Damar Hamlin narratives that are going to carry on forever. We're going to hear about it all week. We're probably going to hear about it for the rest of the season. if the Bills win the Super Bowl, we're going to hear about Damar Hamlin and the Damar Hamlin narrative going forward, and I'm here for it. I'm excited about it. But the story inside the story for this game, and we talked a little bit about it at the top, I've been saying, I don't even know, for 8 weeks now, 10 weeks, and it's now starting to get chirped by the national media. That doesn't mean that they've heard me say it. They agree. They've come to the same conclusion that the only football team that can beat the Buffalo Bills are the Buffalo Bills. I've never seen a team hurt itself, including this game, as much as this team hurts itself and still overcome it. It's amazing to watch this team, since basically halftime of the Packers game, continually hurt itself, and be able to overcome it, save 3 losses. They just do a very good job. Resilient is the word. Taron Johnson said it. Sean McDermott has said it. I think Josh Allen has said it through the year. They're just a very resilient football team that has learned how to win. Josh Allen, I'm going to repeat it to you again. Josh Allen said, from here on out, it does not matter how we play. All that matters is that we score more points than the defense, or I should say score more points than the other team. How we win doesn't matter as long as we win. And he's 100% right. But you've got to expect that runway of hurting ourselves is going to run out at some point. So the story for me inside of this football game, outside of it being the Damar Hamlin stuff, as this team is headed to the playoffs as the number 2 seed, they're going to have to clean up unforced errors. Tony Dungy on Sunday Night Football, Football Night in America, I believe it was him, literally said they've got time to work on getting Josh Allen to clean up the 5 red zone. Josh Allen, who didn't throw a red zone interception for the first 4 years or 4.5 years of his career, 3.5 years of his career, has 5 this season. They've got some things they've got to clean up. They've got to clean up the unforced errors. They've got to clean up the stuff on defense, the focus issues, the things like that we saw or that we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks. Now, that doesn't mean that this team doesn't score points. They do. They score a lot of points. That's why they win football games. It doesn't mean that they don't buckle down and score when they need to and do the things that they need to when they need to do it. They do. That's why they're winning football games. Again, I've never seen a team hurt itself as much as this team does and still overcome it. But you have to be concerned that runway is going to run out at some point, and the last place you want it to run out is in a single game series competition that are the playoffs, single game elimination competition. If the Bills make a mistake now, one too many mistakes, there's nothing they can do to overcome it. They're out. They're going golfing. They're headed to Mexico. The season is over. Bad decisions, red zone picks by Josh Allen, fumbles, drop passes, missed tackles, missed assignments, missed gap fits, all that stuff. In order for this football team to do what we want them to do, they're going to have to play clean, good football. Do they need to play perfect football next week against the Dolphins? Probably not. Are they going to have to play perfect football against the Bengals? Are they going to have to play perfect football against the Chiefs? Are they going to have to play perfect football against the Eagles or the 49ers? Yeah, they're going to have to play perfect football. So to me, that's kind of that story inside the story of this game. They're going to have to start playing cleaner football, if that makes sense. Another super chat from Carl. Carl, appreciate you. Like I said, hopefully Damar will be out of critical condition soon and recovering back at home. I can't wait until Damar is sitting on the sidelines with his team. I can't wait till Damar is playing football again, because I think that's literally where this whole story is going. I think Damar Hamlin is going to recover. And I know that a lot of people are like, but Joe, he died on the football field and they had to shock him back. JJ Watt got shocked this year too. Like, he took an AED to the chest to get his heart back in rhythm. So as long as he's neurologically fine, the lung damage that he received or that he had was basically from them beating on his chest to get his heart restarted. As long as he's neurologically fine and he is his heart. He doesn't have myocarditis or any of those things. It's kind of like an underlying make you retire situation. There's a good chance this young man is going to play football again. And man, you want to talk about exciting. That would be pretty tremendous. Super, super long. And I still got dude awards for you, and I got to read your tweets. So I apologize, everybody. Stick with me if you can. The dude awards. So for those of you that are not aware, we don't do thumbs up, thumbs down. We don't do buy or sell. We do the dude award. So if you are playing well, we go, dude, great job, dude, you're the man. If you were not playing good and you didn't play well, we go, dude, bro, got to be better. Got to be better. So the dude, my good dude awards, I've got 3. I've got 1 down dude award. And you'll probably laugh. So my good dude awards, clearly you're giving the first star, the first dude award to Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines, what a coming out party for this young man. He joined this team late at the trade deadline. Probably you could glean from his post-game presser. He still probably feels like as much as he's a part of this team. He said that he loves this team. It's the biggest family that he's ever been a part of as far as a football team goes. He made mention of the fact that this is the best fan base in the NFL. He gets it. He understands the culture and all that stuff. This was very much a coming out party for Nyheim Hines. And if that little bit can continue for the next 4 games, if they can get hot as a special teams unit, look out, everybody else. Second dude award, Taron Johnson, I thought just played a tremendously fantastic football game. And then the last good dude award is Tre'Davious White and Matt Milano for their picks. I know Tremaine Edmonds had one as well, but Trey's and Matt's were both kind of in that end zone area. Matt's was in the end zone, and then Trey's was on the 2-yard line. So for me, they got my last kind of a double dude award, just kind of to end the game. And then my only down dude award goes to, drumroll please, it's not a Bills player, the freaking Las Vegas Raiders. Like, what in the world? Seriously. They practically didn't even show up. They were playing a different football game almost completely than the Chiefs were playing. Like, could you at least show up and pretend like you want to be in a football game? It's the end of the season. They're division rivals. You could spoil everything for them because if they lose, the Bills win. The Bills get the 1 seed, yada, yada, yada. They didn't even show up. It was pathetic. So my down dude award goes to the Las Vegas Raiders. So those are your dude awards. Now, we're going to wrap this show up. We're going to wrap this thing up. And if you are listening to this in podcast form and you are looking for the tweets, I am now dropping the tweets in a separate podcast that is on the Overreaction Buffalo Sports podcast feed in a show called Mafia Monday. So if you are with me live right now, you get to hear them. And if you are not with me live right now, you want to jump over after this and you want to listen to the Mafia Monday segment episode of Overreaction Buffalo. So I sent out a tweet after this show. The Buffalo Bills defeat the Patriots to take the number 2 seed officially. How's that win got you feeling, Bills Mafia? Let me know. Reading your tweets live on the show at 8 p.m. tonight. Hashtag Victory Monday. Hashtag playoffs. Hashtag 3. I should have done the for Damar one, but sorry, I didn't. Karen, let's go Buffalo at Go Sabres and Bills. QB1 was all of us. Talk about another roller coaster, crazy plays, emotional game on top of the Hamlin emotions. Hines, Smoke, Allen, Diggs got us that win. Go Bills. Wildest dreams land. Hashtag squish the fish. That gets a retweet. Appreciate you being a part of the show. C-Dub, hashtag Bills Mafia at Chris Wells 73. Sure, there are question marks. Sure, there are doubts, but the Bills keep on winning. And that's all they need to do. I just got through saying this, C-Dub. You were the man. Love it, he says. Bring on the excuse-making Finns. Hashtag Go Bills. Hashtag Super Bowl Bills. Hashtag Wildest Dreams Land. By the way, you can get a Wildest Dreams Land t-shirt from buffonweck.com. If you have not gotten one yet, please run over and get yourself a Wildest Dreams Land t-shirt. Get it now before the Super Bowl. Just saying. Autumn at Autumn RE_sports. So happy we won. Happy to see Hines continue to be fire. Defense got 3 interceptions, and I'm happy Tremaine and Trey finally got theirs. Excited Smoke got a tutty. Can't wait to see him and Bees called up for the playoffs. I love you, Josh Allen. Hashtag love for Damar, which is awesome. Tyler Wilson at LaBounty Barber 3. The love for 3 this past week was amazing, and the turnaround for Damar is awesome. JA17 pregame speech sent chills down my spine. Glad to see our defense continue to rise to the level of play. Need to keep it up and clean up the errors. Offense needs to keep the foot on the gas. Tyler, thank you for being a part of the show. Bill S. at CRZY. Bill, this game was like Billy Ocean. When the going gets tough, tough get going. Sorry. It was a back and forth start, but we ran away with it. Loved the smoke TD. Hines going for 6 twice is crazy. Trey talked about this week being a shit show. Glad we won. Bring on Miami. Hashtag go Bills. Mountain Man at KUSKU72. So Cusco 72 should be celebrating clinching the 1 seed, but here we are. Glad they got the win, or they win in what could have been too emotional of a day. Mountain Man, I agree with you 100%. Super Bowl LV7 champs at Saxaday. This is my guy Saxaday from across the pond. Big dubs for Damar. Feeling like we're kings of the East and hosting a playoff game again. Whoop, whoop. I'd rather have the 1 seed, but take a healthier Damar over the first. But squish the fish and take 3 time? Oh, for the 3rd time. Gotcha. Just hope Frazier takes the hint from all the other teams that have beaten Miami. Me too. I hope they don't play off coverage in this football game because it drove me crazy a couple weeks ago. Zach Jennings at Zach the Rioter. Feeling good, yet not. Got robbed of the number 1 seed and didn't play that good of a game despite having put 35 on them. With 2 coming from Hines, monster game from him. Also, Singletary recovered that fumble. How did they not review that, and or why didn't they? Why didn't McDermott challenge it? They didn't challenge a lot of things, Zach, to include the spot on that one play. Several plays. The spots were bad in this football game, really bad. But it is what it is. Steve at Steve Westerhouse. Great to see Isaiah Hodgins with a touchdown. Oh, wait. Seriously, great team win with some shaky defense. 3 more for you. At Richard Rush. At Richard R. Rush 2. My guy, Richard. I'm glad we got the win. We all need it. Now on to the Fins, no matter who their quarterback is. Go Bills. Hashtag love for Damar. Eric M. Johnson. My guy, Eric at Eric saying stuff. All the feelings. All of them. That's all he says, and he is 100% right. Last one for you. Bills Media 716. I might have to refresh this. Mac Jones can be wannabe Tom next year. So happy we ended their season today. Thank you for another great year of podcasts. We got a couple left. Bills Media. Hope for a couple more this season. Bring on the Fins. Hashtag go Bills. And I think that was all of them. Yes, that was all of them. So those were the tweets from the Bills Mafia in how they were feeling about this football game and the win. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys. The Buffalo Bills finished the season 13-3. They're headed to the playoffs to play the Miami Dolphins in Orchard Park next week. I've got my tickets. I hope you get yours, and I hope I get to see you at the stadium. But you have been tuned in to the Overreaction Buffalo Postgame Show, brought to you by the Market Dominator team on the Buffalo Rumblings Vidcast Network, presented by Picasso's Pizza. My name is Joe Miller. You can find me, as always, on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired. Appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Wildest dreams land. Man, this playoffs thing never gets old. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty great. What a great time to be a Bills fan. What a great time to be Bills Mafia. I'll see you guys next Sunday or Saturday, depending on when the game is. But appreciate y'all. Be healthy. Pray for Damar. Be united. Have hope. Go Bills.